Everyone ready? Yes. All right. I will call the meeting to order. The first item is to approve the agenda. Any changes or anything regarding the agenda?
Can we add that I would probably like to introduce myself at some point?
Oh, okay. Would you like to do that right now, or?
Sure.
Sure, okay.
Hi, Planning Commissioners. My name is Erin Smith. This is my first meeting with the City of Carver, day 6 of employment. So I started last week, Wednesday. I'm coming from the City of Victoria, where I was for about 2.5 years. Previous to that, I worked in rural Minnesota at a regional development commission, so doing planning work for a 5-county area. Primarily, I did work in clean energy. I have a master's degree from the Minnesota State Mankato and in urban planning, and a bachelor's from the University of Minnesota Duluth in urban and regional studies. I'm originally from Winona, Minnesota, so I've been kind of all over the state, touching most points. I think that's it. In my free time, I love reading, riding my bike, being outside, and I'm really excited to start working with you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Welcome.
Thanks.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All those or any further discussion on agenda changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. The next item is to approve the February 15th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting minutes. Any comments, any changes?
On page 4, paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it should say Commissioner Wygand.
I already brought that up,
Did you already bring
and we decided that was a typo rather than a minute change.
that?
Or,
Was
it may have been wishful thinking.
nostalgic thinking. That's my only tiny little thing. Otherwise, I make a motion to approve the February 15th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Any further discussion or changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. There are no public hearings this evening, so the next item is new business, which is Oak Tree, the final plat. And Cindy, if you would
Thank you.
update us.
This is the first phase final plat for Oak Tree. As you probably recall, last summer you saw the preliminary plat and the rezoning and the PUD for this development. What they're proposing to construct at this time is 63 lots. They're located primarily the 63 most eastern lots on the development, so they would construct the entrance to the neighborhood at White Pine Way along with the intersection improvements that are in your packet. The intersection improvements, just so that you all know, are still being finalized with Carver County and are subject to separate permitting with them for the work that's to be done in the right-of-way. So that what you see is a good schematic of what is going to be completed, but there will be some changes from that to what the final version is, but it's pretty close at this point. There will also be a connection completed with this phase to Hartwell Drive, so those two, Hartwell and White Pine Way, will intersect. And then 2 sort of portions of the neighborhood will be started, which the one on the southeastern side is the villa lots. So that's where you see there is the one outlot that is actually a private driveway that'll be maintained by the homeowners association. The villas are the concept that we discussed previously, where the landscaping and driveways and all of, they have more extensive homeowner association and maintained improvements than the rest of the neighborhood will typically have. And then the other portion is another smaller lot product type than some of their single family that'll be to the west, but is a single family product. They do intend to come in later this year yet with Outlot G to plat that into their first, that first section of the true single-family neighborhood. So you'll probably see another final plat sometime this year for that portion. The, it is, yep.
Okay, yep.
Yep, and the outlots were all planned for how they would later plat for future phases. So outlot G will be that next phase. Outlot H will be the phase after that, which will include the extension of a road down to Dahlgren Road. And then I would be that last portion to be done. There are the two very small outlots. I can't remember the numbering or the lettering of them. They're both on the southern side of the plat. One's a little sliver of an outlot kind of in the middle of the very south of the plat. And then one is a kind of rectangular shaped outlot that touches on Dahlgren Road. Those two outlots will be traded to the property owner that's immediately south of this property for another piece of property that will actually be that Dahlgren Road connection in that second phase, because we're calling G actually Phase 1B.
Is there actually a road now at Hartwell? I mean, on the north side?
There is. It's where Hartwell currently ends in the Copper Hills Carver Crossing area. So it'll directly connect. So folks leaving this neighborhood, as you saw from the right-of-way improvements on County Road 11, there is not going to be a signalized intersection here. So in the morning, say when they're trying to leave here, they could go up to that Ironwood Drive intersection to be able to hit a light. The whole site will be graded. It's already, a lot of it has already been under a grading permit, so the surface water infrastructure will primarily be completed with this first phase.
There's nothing to prevent them going out White Pine Way, is there?
No, there's not,
Just
but
other
the
than
traffic levels might, at certain times of day, discourage that.
The world is filled with idiots, though.
They did design the improvements as well at White Pine Way, and as well as the grading on the whole eastern portion of the plat to be accepting of the future road improvements that Carver County is planning for County Road 11. So they've coordinated with Carver County to design that grading system so that they will be as compatible as they can be, given that Carver County hasn't completed their plans for the improvements in that area as well.
Do we know when those plans would be finalized?
The Carver County plans? No, not exactly. And
Months,
they're
years?
definitely, the corridor study that we're doing should be finished up sometime later this year. But the actual engineering plans for that project are probably a few years away yet. It's not planned out until about 5 years out in their capital improvement plan for construction. So I'd anticipate in about 3 years maybe.
Okay. I did have a question on one of the maps, and I'm glad you mentioned that it's just schematics when it comes to the road and the right-of-ways.
Can you,
I might almost have to ask what to refer this page to as.
is it this one? By any chance?
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Where it says proposed 12-foot turn lane and proposed bituminous, who gets to decide if it's permanent or proposed? I would just be more comfortable seeing something more concrete.
Sure, so that is what they are proposing to construct with this project. It should end up being very similar to this, but again, they're still coordinating with Carver County, and they do have separate permits they have to obtain from the county related to work in the right-of-way. And so Carver County will actually permit that, but what you'll see is something that shouldn't be any different from your eye, if that makes sense.
So it will be actually there, or they're thinking maybe they would?
No, it would be there.
Then why does it say proposed?
To just on this plan sheet to differentiate it from what's already there.
Okay.
Actually, there is something there now. There's a bypass lane for turns into White Pine Way.
Yes, and this might be a great time for me to introduce Ryan Bloom with Westwood, who I'm sure would love to share a little bit more about the plans for this area.
Yes, Ryan Bloom with Westwood, civil engineer for this project. So this plan reflects what the county has asked for. And you are correct, there is an existing bypass lane now. So what this additional pavement that's shown on the west side of County Road 11 will have to restripe the road to allow for left turn lanes for southbound traffic and left turn lanes for northbound traffic to go to White Pine Way. And then we're also adding additional pavement to the west to facilitate a right turn lane for southbound traffic into our project and for an acceleration lane. So you can see there's about the shaded area that's shown on the bottom part of the intersection is all additional or changed pavement that's needed to facilitate the new intersection. And as Cindy said, we've been coordinating with them to also look at their future construction and their changes that they're proposing for that project that's to happen in the next 3 to 4 years. And I'm here if you have any more questions.
And also, Mark Sonsegard with Cal Atlantic Homes, who is the builder and developer of this project, is also here if you have any questions for him.
Madam Chair, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
My question, let's see if I can get everybody on the same page with me. In the packets on page 3 of our memo, I'm going to reference page 3, 4, and 5. My question is more perhaps a clarification piece, and I'll just read. This is under the first paragraph on page 3, bluffs and wetlands, at the last sentence speaking about outlots C and H, which will ultimately be owned and maintained by the city, as they also contain surface water infrastructure. When I continue to read through the package, you get to page 4, item number 17, all the way on the bottom. It talks about outlot C, and I can match that up with the bluffs and wetlands statement on page 3, maintenance for surface of water. However, when you go to the next page, page 5, talks about next item 18 at the top there, outlots G, H, and I, platted into lots and right-of-way. I don't see any reference back to the surface water piece, and I just wondered if that
Y?
was... Yes.
Yep, so it's actually correct right now. Outlot H, the rest of that will be platted into the lots, blocks right away, and another portion of outlot that the city will obtain. In the meantime, there will be sort of a blanket drainage and utility easement across all of the outlots that are future phases of development, so that we can still access that surface water infrastructure in the meantime.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Can someone walk me through the trails in the development? Can someone walk me through the trails in the development? I had a hard time telling where they were.
Sure. There is a trail that did terminate at the underpass that'll be extended through the development. So it'll cross White Pine Way, and then it'll work its way down
Through the bluff area.
through the bluff area, right? So behind the lots, along outlots G and H, and then down through the bluff and ravine area down to where the new road will intersect with Dahlgren. So I guess
Okay.
And then,
it's hard for me to.
I know, I'm trying to look at, I'm looking at the
you
overall
switch to the-
landscaping plan, and I'm trying to follow it.
one more.
I see where it connects to the underpass.
So I can
Mark,
use this
hand me
overall graphic.
Yeah, this,
I'm gonna walk up here and
Oh.
point, just because it's easier.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's nicer in color. I don't know that that was in my packet.
Well, this is sort of a rendering of the pad, and it might be a little bit different than what the final plat's showing. Okay. But so the trails. This is easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So the existing trail is here to the underpass, so the one that Ryan mentioned comes from here, crosses at Oak Tree Court, and then meanders its way down, and then ends up back at near the intersection of Sixth Street and County Road 11. So this will be constructed as part of this development. Correct. Section here, okay. Correct. And then there ultimately will also be a trail that goes along White Pine Way. Okay. And a trail along Hartwell. Okay. To connect to these two, whatever existing is on Hartwell. Yep. And of course, portions of that will all be constructed in later phases. And then the county is planning for the possibility that there could be an additional trail along the west side of County Road 11 once they do the project that the county's doing in several years. And the grading has all been designed to accommodate and accept that trail.
Is there berming along around Jonathan Carver Parkway, along County Road 11? Or is it just really landscaping?
So because of that future trail.
Yeah.
We could not accommodate a berm, so we're
That's what I
grading that
thought.
out. So we're gonna be using a fence.
Okay.
Along with landscaping.
Okay. Okay. One Tree Court has I see the private drive, right, with the 4 lots that are on it. So I assume that will be association maintained and stuff like that. But I'm wondering about the little, here. Are we all good with that?
Well, yeah, typically the city does not maintain
Yeah.
those kind of islands, as you're probably aware, 'cause I
Yeah.
think you're familiar with some.
Yes, I am.
So that's something that is still a review
Okay.
item, and it could either be potentially maintained by the HOA
Okay.
or,
Sorry, where is that one?
This little, in the southernmost, there's a little island in the cul-de-sac. Yeah.
At least it's not at the entrance to the street.
Yes, Jim. Okay.
You know, I have a question. I like the concept of the villas along with the single-family homes, but the properties across the street, the twin homes, or those have been being built out for quite some time, and part of it due to bankruptcy or financial situations of the developers. And then we also had the change from townhomes to single-family homes because the townhomes weren't selling very well. Is there any concern about the market of the villas taking a lot longer to sell than single-family homes?
I think I'll let Mark speak to that.
Okay.
But from our perspective, we don't have any concern about the villas
Okay.
and how much the market will accept them.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name's Mark Sauciard. I work in the Cal Atlantic Land Department. Yeah, the villas are something that we've been building throughout the Twin Cities, and they've been fairly well received. So, yeah, we're anticipating a sales pace of 1.5 to 2 a month
Okay.
to build them out. So, yeah, and then that is a phase that we will develop with the first phase, so they'll all, how many all 30 some will be built right away this year. So, yeah, there's interest in it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a nice option for our community. Nice.
What was the price point on those, roughly?
I have that. Base price for the villa project, we'll start out in the low or 320s and up to the 360s, And then that's your base price, and then we're anticipating $20,000 to $30,000 worth of options in each house.
So it's not exactly affordable housing.
No, it's reasonable.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And I did see that, at least in the single-family homes, it looked like it was a combination of Rambler and split entry, if I remember correctly in the packet. Does that speak to the villas as well? Are those single-level, multi-level? I don't recall seeing that.
Yeah, all the
piece.
villas, except for one, are going to be Rambler style, one level with a full basement.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sorry, I missed the original meeting with all this
That's
stuff.
okay.
I'm sorry. So on this color map, is the yellow the villas and the white the houses, or am I wrong? I know these are villas here.
Yes, those are the villas, and then the ones up in that corner, those are the more of the modified homes that we're calling them. And then the ones that are white are your more traditional 2 stories.
So what makes it modified?
Modified is these, if you remember back a while ago, 5-course basements, split entries.
Yeah.
So basically, this style of home, I actually brought a picture.
Oh, cool.
So you come in on a main level living, that's your at grade, which will be your living room, your kitchen, a flex room, and then you go up 5 stairs to your bedrooms,
Okay.
or you go down 5 stairs to your basement.
Okay.
And then underneath that entrance level is a crawl space.
Okay. Okay. I know we're planning for the intersection of White Pine Way along County Road 11. Is there anything we need to worry about down here at 6th?
We've seen
For
preliminary
Dahlgren?
plans that the county's working on for
Okay.
improving that intersection.
Okay.
So it'll be significantly different when they get done.
Yeah. I mean, currently, you know,
Yeah.
the houses are nowhere near that, so it looks like nothing would be impacted
Right,
depending
and
upon
we
what they're
are,
doing.
right now, as we plat this, the county has given us,
Sort of guidelines on.
well, the requested right-of-way for that
Okay.
area, so,
So we know what that is, and that's not going to impact this.
correct.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other questions, comments? All right, anyone want to entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve, subject to the conditions in the staff memo.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other updates? Anything? No? All right, I will make a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.